For those that have followed wrestling over the years, they'll understand that Ted Turner and Vince McMahon were supposedly bitter rivals. Ted Turner owning World Championship Wrestling WCW, and Vince McMahon owning WWF, later on WWE. First off, let's take a look at Ted Turner's WCW and the logo here for Monday Nitro that started in 1995, airing on the TNT network that he owned. Understand, before there was Monday Nitro, WCW basically aired on WTBS on a Saturday day, didn't get much ratings compared to WWF wrestling at the time. Then Ted Turner launched WCW Monday Nitro, which had a prime time slot, of course, Monday night. Taking a look at the angle that was first pushed when they went to Monday nights, and that was a New World Order wrestling angle. And understand, this was all about getting this spotlighted in primetime TV. And of course, you have the black and white for Freemasonry. Just take a look at some of the New World Order wrestlers, and you see the devil horns. You see Hulk Hogan HH for 88, and you see him here with the basically mocking Christ with his arms out like this, called the so-called Jesus pose. As you see here, wrestler Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon, doing the Jesus Christ pose, all mockery of Christ, just like Trent Reznor of 9 Inch Nails doing the same exact pose. And of course, 9 Inch Nails refers to the Roman nails used to crucify Christ. Take a look at more of these images here of the New World Order in wrestling, and they just so happen to incorporate the devil horns with the New World Order agenda. Of course, it all connects, it all relates. Also taking a look at, again, Hollywood Hulk Hogan's tights, and you see the lightning bolts, which of course is a reference to Luke chapter 10 verse 18 in the Bible, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Now, getting back on track when it comes to, again, Ted Turner and Vince McMahon, even though supposed rivals, they're pushing the same exact agenda. Now, I've showed this before, going back to 1989, with the tag team of Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan being the Mega Powers, going against Akeem, the Dream, and the Big Boss Man. Again, all about the Twin Towers and predictive programming with that. Let's take a listen to this clip of these interviews and understand these are just actors. They are fed these lines. It's not from them, so that needs to be perfectly clear. They're not in the know. They have no idea. They're basically useful idiots when it comes down to it. Take a listen, as I showed before with these clips.
Or are you going to continue your terrorist attacks on the Mega Powers? One goal in mind, to defeat, or should I say demolish, the Twin Towers. Yeah. Hulk Hogan, you talked about the Triangle of Love. Jesse Ventura says there's a problem.
And the mention of Jesse Ventura, of course, supposed truth speaker, but he's all part of Vince McMahon. He's part of WWF and also a part of WCW. As you see here, also connected to Ted Turner, with the show airing on True TV, which Ted Turner owns. So you understand how they're all connected, supposedly working against each other, but actually all working together as a group, pushing the same exact agenda of the New World Order. Now let's take a look here. I find it very interesting. Again, with the tag team called the Twin Towers. There was a tag team that came out in the WWF in 1987 called Demolition. Interesting enough here, let's take a look at another image of Demolition. Now, these two tag teams faced off against each other. Every time they faced off, Demolition beat the Twin Towers. So, the name Demolition for this tag team going against the Twin Towers. This is no coincidence. It's all, again, predictive programming. Take a look here from WWF TV from 1989, as I showed before. This placard, Demolition will topple the Twin Towers. Just a little bit of a close-up. Now, I'm going to make a connection again when I talk about how they're all working together with Ted Turner and Vince McMahon pushing the same exact agenda. It all makes sense. Now let's take a look at this tag team. Now taking a look at Ted Turner's WCW version of the Twin Towers, they were called the Skyscrapers, with Dangerous Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious. Now, let's take a look at the opening here for this Clash of Champions, as it was called, in WCW, which aired on live TV. And this was the intro before the actual wrestling match. again at the Clash of Champions. And you'll notice the Twin Towers with the skyscrapers, the reference to the team, of course. Now take a listen, and I'll point a few things out after.
Be done for forever. Dangerous Dan Spivey, the real deal. Mean Mark Kelly, the skyscraper.
Now again, like I stated, his name is Dan Spivey, and Mean Mark, last name being Callis. Understand the reason they devised the names for these two. Dan Spivey is being his real name, but the reason they incorporated him as part of this team. Spivey is 33 in Pythagorean numerology. Now with Mean Mark, again, let's take a look here. Him as a singles wrestler, Mean Mark, you get the MM for 33. Turn the M sideways, just like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Mad Max, Michael Myers, Marilyn Monroe. The list goes on and on with all these fictitious names with the MM for 33. So you'll understand what's taking place here. So both wrestlers, the two skyscrapers, are 33. And with the Twin Towers construction starting in 1968, and the towers coming down in 2001, just so happens to be 33 years. Now, I find this pretty interesting as well here. Take a look at this promo before the match with the skyscrapers going against the Road Warriors.
Hey, skyscrapers! It's time to get ready to watch the fight!
Now you'll see here, while you're paying attention to the Road Warriors tag team, you look right behind them. Now let's get a little bit of a close-up of this logo here. You understand what's taking place. What do you get here? You get the Road Warriors, and you get these. Looks like thorns. Basically, they're 2 3s. And understand what's taking place here with those behind the scenes. Understand the booker at the time was actually, in 1989, it was a booking by committee, and one of the bookers was well-known Satanist Kevin Sullivan. Here with his wife at the time, Nancy Sullivan, better known as the Fallen Angel, or later on as Woman. Here you see here, Fallen Angel. And just more images of Kevin Sullivan. You see the Satanic Lightning Bolt. You see his tag team here, or his group I should say, in Florida Championship Wrestling. The reference to the Garden Eden with the snake. And you'll see here this image. Basically, you only see the white of his eyes, which represents demon possession. The X on his forehead, which is a symbol for Satan. Now understand, another person involved in the WCW booking committee was a man named Jim Cornette. Taking a look here at his hand signs, you understand what's taking place. These are all, he's definitely a Satanist. And knowingly or unknowingly, like I stated with Freemasonry, it's basically Satanism in disguise. And this man is a well-known atheist. And just taking a look at one of the tag teams that he created when he was the booker, the owner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. These are called the Heavenly Bodies. And taking a look at the symbolism, you see the upside down pentagram, the lightning bolt. You see the star with the extended part there. You see also the Saturn symbolism as well. Understand Jim Cornette and the connection with Vince McMahon. You see here they're working together. And of course, for those that know about Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Vince McMahon and Jim Cornette had a working relationship where WWF wrestlers would appear on his TV matches. Now let's take a look here, going back to WCW. Again, going back to the skyscrapers. You'll understand everything they do, there is a reason. They just don't pull things out of thin air. Take a listen to the finishing maneuver of the skyscrapers.
Once again, a power bomb.
The finishing maneuver is called the power bomb. You got the skyscrapers and you got a bomb reference. Now I find this interesting as well with this promo for a pay-per-view by WCW Wrestling called Wrestle War. Take a listen to the lyrics of basically this promo again for the pay-per-view.
Warriors, survivors from a place time forgot, plan to reduce skyscrapers to parking lots.
They plan to reduce skyscrapers to parking lots. That tag team being the Road Warriors. So again, people singing these promo, the person singing the promo song they were given lyrics. Those are behind the scenes. Again, the bookers, Jim Cornette, people like Kevin Sullivan. Again, it all comes from a higher source. And I'll get into that right now. Again, when I talk about Ted Turner, just take a look here at Ted Turner being interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund on WCW programming.
Of course, our fearless leader, Ted Turner. Ted.
Well, I've been involved with the wrestling business since we started televising it back in, I think, 73. And so it's a real pleasure for me to be really in it now.
Understand what's taking place. Ted Turner, those behind the scenes, they understand there's millions upon millions of wrestling fans. They're going to air this on TV. They're not going to have wasted motion. They're going to have programming in wrestling, just like they have in music, just like they have in Hollywood. Every aspect of our society, everything you see on TV, for the most part, is all about shaping and forming society. Now understand, before Ted Turner owned WCW, it was owned by Jim Crockett Promotions. Now let's take a look here at this logo. And you see the Occult, the hidden 666 in plain sight. Understand, Jim Crockett himself, he was a Freemason as well. So again, to be propped up in this world, to make it on TV, you must be part of this club. Now finding again the connection with Ted Turner and Vince McMahon, they worked together before Ted Turner actually owned WCW, again with Jim Crockett Promotions, when he purchased it in 1988. Prior to that, Vince McMahon actually had dealings with Ted Turner and had a time slot back in the early 80s when WWF had a time slot on TBS. But due to fans' complaints, the fans in the South preferred their WCW wrestling, so WWF programming didn't last too long. But again, this shows you how Vince McMahon and Ted Turner, supposed enemies, were working together. Now understand as well the Occult of 33 with Ted Turner, as I mentioned many times, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the age Christ was crucified. You understand why Ted Turner has the CNN Center on the 33rd parallel in Atlanta, Georgia. Taking a look at the inside of the CNN Center, which is 33 as well for CC 33. And you see the Ball Earth programming as well. Now let's get back to Vince McMahon and WWF, which is now WWE, with no E for a reason. As I stated before, you get the 33. This is why they eliminated the E. There's no E in the WWE logo. Now, interesting enough as well, they have Raw, and Satanists work on opposites. You get Raw backwards, you get War. So Raw is War is the slogan that Vince McMahon uses. Now understand here, the Occult of 33. Let's take a look at more recently with WWE programming. The hidden 33 in plain sight with this, basically this little skit with R-Truth and Goldust about pizza. And I believe a reference to the flat earth. Now take a look.
This is just one of your sick jokes.
Now watch this here. Keeps talking a little bit. Let's skip a little bit forward, and what do you see? Play it right about here so you can see what's taking place.
But
There you go. 33 in plain sight with pizza. A reference to the flat earth, like I played many times in my previous videos, showing the flat earth symbolism with WWE programming. Just another one here, again with the 33. Now, the connection with Vince McMahon in WCW, I find this pretty interesting. He ended up buying the company, WCW, for $2.5 million. Now here's the thing. This is from WWE's official website. There was another company that offered much more but was turned down. With WCW Executive Vice President Eric Bischoff and his group, they offered $67 million to buy WCW, and they were turned down. And they also offered $5 million down, which I find very interesting considering Vince McMahon paid a total of $2.5 million compared to the $67 million offered by Eric Bischoff's group. It's pretty obvious Vince McMahon is pretty high up in the totem pole when it comes to Freemasonry. He has more pull than Eric Bischoff and all of his money with his group that try to purchase WCW. People don't understand how the Matrix works. Every part of the Matrix, that includes celebrities, athletes, even pro wrestlers, are used. They're under contract, so they utilize them as far as controlled opposition, fake news stories, and whatnot. Just take a look again. Hulk Hogan's real name is Terry. When he calls into the Alex Jones show, Alex Jones states he's from Georgia. He says, Terry from Georgia, you're next. So again, understand what's taking place. I'm going to play that clip now. Again, just for the new viewers so they can hear. It's Hulk Hogan's voice, 100%. Understand, he's not going to have the same exact voice as TV as a pro wrestler, where it's exaggerated as when he calls into the Alex Jones show. Take a listen.
Let's go to Terry in Georgia. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got something for you. We have, of course, the NDAA, which is totally unconstitutional. But they don't follow the Constitution anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The problem that I have is a judge, says, hey, we're not going to. No, this is not constitutional. We're not going to accept this. This is not for the American people. And then their lawyers go around, turn around, and overturn it right away. The problem that we have is that information is at the speed of light. And with that information, like back in 1776, information didn't travel like this. They're spying on everything that we do.
But that's good.
Now, to understand the connection with Alex Jones, Hulk Hogan, and Ted Turner of Time Warner, just take a look at this photo from years ago, back in the 90s, who Ted Turner, of course, owned WCW Wrestling, Time Warner. There you see Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan as well. Now you see Jesse Ventura, who recently had Conspiracy Theory TV show on True TV. Understand, True TV is a Time Warner production. So you'll see that connection with pro wrestling when Jesse Ventura was also employed with WCW. Now take a look here. You see the Masonic hand sign. Understand what's taking place here. Now let's take a look here at Alex Jones when he was Bill Hicks. This is obviously Alex Jones. He's had some cosmetic surgery done, but this is him. Again, the Time Warner CNN connection. Now listen to this clip here, and you'll hear a policeman who's talking to one of Alex Jones' employee, Mike Hansen, who looks at his ID and how Mike Hansen explains to the police officer that he works for Alex Jones. And the police officer says, it says on your ID card, Time Warner. So you'll understand the connection, how they're all connected. People don't understand how the Matrix works. They're never going to get it. It's that simple.
You're welcome.
Right there. Right there.
You work for Time Warner Cable?
Right there.
Is that who you work for?
I work for Alex Jones. Who do you work for?
You work for President
I work
Time
for InfoWars. INFOWARS.com. It's a website.
InfoWars.com.
Okay,
that's what I'm asking, so I can tell who you work for.
So
and again, to understand the connection with Hulk Hogan and Alex Jones, again with Ted Turner, understand the entire New World Order gimmick with WCW Wrestling. You see the black and white Masonic colors. You see the black and white beard. People can't understand what's taking place. Is beyond me. People come to my channel trying to dispute things. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're only half awake at best. And again, take a listen to this voice comparison with Hulk Hogan once again and during radio shows. He's going to disguise his voice a bit. They don't want to make it too obvious, but it's definitely Hulk Hogan 100%.
The problem that I have is a judge, says, hey, we're not going to, no, this is not constitutional.
To survive in the world, you have to adapt with the environment, just like a cockroach or a crocodile that's been around for millions of years. You have to adapt the environment.
We have, of course, the NDAA, which is, totally unconstitutional.
They were hoping that financially I wouldn't be able to stay in the game with them and I'd quit or tap out.
The problem that I have is a judge, says, hey, we're not going to, no, this is not constitutional.